graduates, and esteemed guests. Welcome. This is the 2024 Graduate Hooding Ceremony for the University of California, Irvine, and it is now assembled. Please rise and join Madeline Aguilar in the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
Thank you, Madeline. Good evening. My name is Jillian Hayes, and I am the Vice Provost for Graduate Education and Dean of Graduate Division. On behalf of the faculty of the University of California, Irvine, welcome to the 2024 Graduate Hooding Ceremony for doctoral and Master of Fine Arts degree candidates. Joining me today on the platform are the following Chief Academic and Administrative Officers of the University and other participants in the ceremony. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Audience, please hold your applause. Starting on my right, Jenny Wu, UCI Alumni Association, Class of 2022, Mace Marshall. Roxanne Cohen-Silver, Vice Provost for Institutional Research, Assessment and Planning. They're in the wrong order. Stand wherever you are. Marios Papathmeou, Dean, Donald Bren School of Information and Computer Sciences. James Bullock, Dean, School of Physical Sciences. John Gould, Dean, School of Social Ecology. Bill Maurer, Dean, School of Social Sciences. Tiffany Lopez, Dean, Claire Trevor School of the Arts. Craig Walsh, Associate Dean, Charlie Dunlap School of Biological Sciences. Twaha Ibrahim, and our student speaker. Hal Stern, Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor. Willie Banks, Vice Chancellor, Student Affairs. Ian Williamson, Dean, Paul Mirage School of Business. Francis Contreras, Dean, School of Education. Magnus Egerstedt, Dean, the Henry Samueli School of Engineering. Jeff Abbott, Vice Dean, School of Medicine. Mark Lazenby, Dean, Sue and Bill Gross School of Nursing. Jan Hirsch, Founding Dean, School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Bernadette Bowden Albala, Founding Dean, Program in Public Health. Tyrus Miller, Dean, School of Humanities. Associate Dean and Professor Jamie Lee Smith, Platform Party Marshall, and Professor Tanya Bradford, University Marshall. I also wish to acknowledge the presence of Associate Deans and other distinguished faculty and participants on the platform. Will the faculty and other participants please stand? Thank you. You may all be seated. For the UCI class of 2024, we are holding 12 ceremonies this week, celebrating and recognizing over 11,030 students who have earned undergraduate and graduate degrees during this past academic year, including a record number of PhD and MFA recipients. Now please welcome Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor Hal Stern.
Thank you, Vice Provost Hayes. Good evening, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be here and offer my congratulations to the class of 2024. A special note to the fathers in the audience, wherever you are. Happy Father's Day tomorrow. And if you are a father whose child is getting a degree tonight, that is the greatest gift that you could get, better than the tie you were expecting. So, as Vice Provost Hayes noted, UC Irvine is holding 12 commencement ceremonies this weekend. 11 are primarily about the undergraduates. These are joyous celebrations and address a critical part of the university's mission, educating students and transforming lives. Tonight's celebration is a little different. Tonight, we honor students who have completed the terminal degrees in their fields, doctorates and Masters of Fine Arts. This commencement celebrates another key part of the university's mission, our research mission, the generation of new knowledge that transforms our understanding of the world and our place in it. The students that you will see tonight have spent many years, we won't get into exactly how many, mastering the knowledge in their field and then making new contributions to their disciplines. The students have carried out their research in an amazing variety of areas. Students are creating new ways to generate and store energy, to help society adapt to climate change, to understand the lessons of history, to transform the criminal justice system, to advance the arts, and to understand the mechanisms of disease and the keys to wellness, and so much more. The work they do is different than the work done by our undergraduates. It is not a matter of studying textbooks and taking exams. Oh, there are a few exams along the way, but it is many hours in the lab or in the studio or in the archives working hard to challenge their discipline. It involves trial and error. It involves finding dead ends and ways around them. Some of the work happens in teams. Some of it happens alone. The work happens while students are dealing with family obligations and other obligations. Completing a graduate degree requires perseverance and grit. I congratulate all of you on reaching this point. Of course, like any significant achievement, these students' successes depend on many others. First, you will see that each student's hood is placed on them by their advisor. The relationship between the graduate student and their advisor is critically important. At various times, the advisor serves as questioner, mentor, friend, supporter, and tonight, colleague. But the achievements we celebrate today are not just about the student and their advisor. The students have been supported by all their friends and family, those who are here today and those who are not. We thank you for that support. The term graduation refers to receiving your degree and thus marks an end to this part of your journey. But we use the term commencement to describe today's ceremony because it is also a beginning. You will head on to the next phase of your life, a postdoctoral position for some, an academic position for others, a job in industry, or some other adventure. Whatever you do next, I hope that as you leave the university, you will do what you can to make the world a better place. I hope that you will continue learning, look for the good in people, and be kind to each other. And importantly, I hope that you will remember your time at UC Irvine fondly. We would love to have you back on campus for events, for activities, and to serve as a mentor for the next generation of students. Congratulations to the class of 2024.
Thank you, Provost Stern. It is now my absolute honor and pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Twaha Ibrahim. Mohammed Twaha Ibrahim is graduating today with a PhD in computer science. His research is in spatially augmented reality, which uses projectors to illuminate objects of any shape and size and completely transform their appearance. He has been collaborating with surgeons from UCI Health to apply his research by illuminating surgical sites using projectors. And just last month, he successfully ran his system on a real patient in the OR. He was also the UC Irvine Grad Slam champion of 2023. While his research technology transforms the appearance of objects, he looks back and reflects on how much technology has transformed the world since he started at UCI. With the rise of large language models and ChatGPT performing complex tasks previously thought possible only by human beings, he is excited about the potential of artificial intelligence and curious about his limits. We get to hear from him today asking these important questions like what it is that makes us truly human. Please join me in welcoming Twaha.
Thank you, Vice Provost Hayes. It really is an honor to be up here on the stage. Right now, as we wrap things up, there are probably 1,000 things on our minds, but I know the one thing at the very top, finally, we made it. After all these years of late nights and hard work, we finally made it. So congratulations, class of 2024. Now, a word of advice for parents, families, and friends. Please don't ask us how long it took to finish. And a word of caution for students, scholars, and graduates. They will still ask. Humanity has consistently progressed throughout its history, and one of the biggest contributors to that progress is science, the process of learning about our world, harnessing its powers to improve our lives, and then producing even more knowledge. And for all of us graduating today, it is truly humbling to be a part of this noble tradition, a tradition that crosses the boundaries of time and space, producing scholars from all walks of life, whose contributions illuminate the world like the stars and planets illuminate and decorate the night sky. And now, our work is part of that ever-growing constellation. But with every scholarly work and every scientific contribution, we learn more about our world and about ourselves. And that changes our outlook on life. And with these changes come important questions, some of them technical, of course, but others more philosophical and introspective. We now live in a world where AI, or artificial intelligence, is all the rage. Everyone is talking about it. And we have opinions ranging from AI can fix all our problems to AI will take over the world. Regardless of what opinions you might hold, recent advances in AI have definitely raised some very important questions. We now have these chatbots that can perform complex tasks previously thought possible only by humans, whether it is answering complex queries or painting vivid images, and now even videos. But at the end of the day, AI models rely on the data that is that they are trained on. And so they are a reflection of our society. The good, the bad, and the dad jokes. Happy Father's Day, by the way. So ask it to craft an essay by merging the literary styles of your favorite authors, and it does a pretty good job. And yet it also picks up some uncomfortable realities of our society. Ask whether some people deserve freedom, and it will say, yes, they do, just as every other people. But if you ask whether another group of people deserve freedom, it responds with it's complicated. And the truth is, for an AI, it really is complicated. because it doesn't have the one thing that makes us human: a heart. The heart, which has a unique ability to perceive right from wrong, to recognize the truth, and to reject lies. The heart which tells us that there is nothing complicated about people wanting their freedom after being driven out of their homes and besieged for decades. It is our hearts that tell us that they too deserve freedom, just as everyone else. And our hearts tell us this because they are capable of showing mercy, kindness, and empathy to those around us, people we know and those who we do not. It is the heart that makes us grateful to those who enabled us to work hard and succeed during our studies. Our university for creating the right environment, our faculty for their guidance and mentorship, our friends for their support, and our families, especially our parents, for their sacrifices. These were the people who were there for us, offering their sympathies when we were frustrated because our research wasn't working and we didn't know why. And they also celebrated with us when we were happy because our research was finally working, even if we sometimes still didn't know why. Humanity continues to change through major breakthroughs in science, but the one thing that hasn't changed throughout our history is our hearts. It is our ability to show love and compassion to others, regardless of who they might be or where they might be. It is our ability to feel the pain of others and want to provide comfort. So my message to everyone today is that life will present many problems asking us for solutions. For some of them, we will turn to science to find the answers, maybe even AI. But for others, we will need to look deep within ourselves. We will need to listen to our hearts. So as you all go out today and celebrate, and as you continue contributing knowledge to this world and making an impact, please do not forget to work and lead with your heart. Congratulations, class of 2024. You finally made it. Thank you.
Thank you, Twaha. We appreciate your remarks. Now is the time to recognize those we have come to honor today. Vice Provost and Dean Hayes, please present the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Nursing Practice.
Will the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Nursing Practice please rise and remain standing? Doctor of Philosophy, that's the PhDs. There you go. Provost Stern, I present the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Nursing Practice.
Okay, this is the good part. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I confer upon you the Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Nursing Practice degrees for which you have been presented. Congratulations. Please be seated. Vice Provost and Dean Hayes, please present the candidates for the degree of Master of Fine Arts.
Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Fine Arts please rise and remain standing? Provost Stern, I present the candidates for the degree of Master of Fine Arts.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I confer upon you the Master of Arts, Fine Arts degree for which you have been presented. Congratulations. Please be seated.
Congratulations to all of you and your families. We will now recognize the degree recipients from each school. As graduates exit the stage, they will receive a gift from the UCI Alumni Association to welcome them into the Anteater alumni family. While the process does take some time, we do continue this tradition at the request of the students who we are all here to honor today. So we ask that you remain in your seats until the conclusion of the ceremony. I call upon Dean Papa Efthimayu.
We will now recognize the doctoral recipients from the Donald Brand School of Information and Computer Sciences. New doctors, please come forward to be recognized.
Twaha Ibrahim, being hooded by Idi Majumbra.
Shi Shu, hooded by Annie Chu.
Andrew Searles, being hooded by Jean Sudik.
Jushen Zhang, hooded by Annie Chu.
Saw Yon Huang, being hooded by Jean Sudik.
Yanshi Gu, hooded by Stanislav Jaretsky.
Fabian Parsifal, being hooded by Professor Michael Franz.
Glenn Justo Galviso, hooded by Mike Carey.
Min Yi Su, being hooded by Michael Franz.
Catherine Brewster, hooded by Bo Ruberg.
Kwan An Vo, being hooded by Professor Hung Kao.
Benedict Salazar Olgado, hooded by Professor Roderick Crooks.
Ariel Han, being hooded by Kylie Pepler.
Bin Ching Hu, hooded by Bin Nan.
Shi Lu, being hooded by Daniel Epstein.
Salar Jafarlu, hooded by Amir Rahmani.
Lucas Melo Silva, being hooded by Daniel Epstein and Jillian Hayes.
Ao Dong Lee, hooded by Stephen Mant.
Yang Yue, being hooded by David Red Miles.
Alex James Boyd, hooded by Professor Smith.
From the School of Physical Sciences, Zane Long, being hooded by Rachel Martin.
Evrim Ozel, hooded by Michael Goodrich.
Yes. Ting Ting Zhu, being hooded by Jin Yi Yu.
Hadi Kodabande, hooded by Professor David Epstein.
Okay.
Let them go.
Go ahead. Wait. Next should have been.
Shang Yi Yan, hosted by Mario Papayefshimu.
What is happening? I have no idea.
Hao Yu Ma, hooded by Mario Papayefshimu. Yun Han Zhao, hooded by Dean Papayefshimu. Garrison Akira Wells, hooded by Dean Papayefshimu.
And that concludes the presentations of doctoral degrees from the Donald Brand School of Information and Computer Sciences. I call upon Vice Provost and Dean Gillian Hayes.
We will now recognize the doctoral recipients for the interdisciplinary programs. New doctors, please come forward to be recognized.
She said interdisciplinary, but they're physical science.
Tanjeed Ahmed, hooded by Michael F. Highland.
Yeah, they just announced it. That's why. Yeah, I just didn't want to announce it.
Are you interdisciplinary? All right.
These are all physical sciences. All physical sciences.
Is there any more interdisciplinary people? That's it?
Concludes the presentation of doctoral degrees for the interdisciplinary programs. I call upon Dean Bullock.
Okay, we will now recognize the doctoral recipients from the School of Physical Sciences. And if we already recognized you, we love you too. That's okay. We're all good. Let's do it.
Pichiyani Kititanan Wong, being hooded by Alex Gunther.
Chris Young Zhang, hooded by David Mobley.
Hui Wong, being hooded by Alex Gunther.
Shengtao Jiang, hooded by Stephen R. White.
Gracie Wong, being hooded by Se-Wong Kim.
Yunpeng Xia, hooded by Wilson Ho.
Joanna Tavares, being hooded by Claudia Chimchik.
Wenha Wang, hooded by Zhihong Ling.
Cindy Cristina Yanez, being hooded by Claudia Chimchik.
Nantamon Sumpantanapong, hooded by Andy Borvik.
Chia Chung Liang, being hooded by Isabella Villiconia.
Fan Fu, hooded by Andy Borvik.
Jae Hung Kim, being hooded by Eric Rigno.
Ali Tariq Yunus, hooded by Andy Borvik.
Han-Ning Chen, being hooded by Eric Rigno.
Natalie Marie Minetian, hooded by Andy Borvik.
Corey Cardwell Beard, being hooded by Professor Paul Robertson.
Austin Green, hooded by Craig Martins.
Olivia Noonan Gallagher, being hooded by Professor Juan Pedro Ochoa Ricu.
Alex Broughton, hooded by Simona Murgia.
Kyle Thomas Manley, being hooded by Denise Egu.
Allison Hedda Diedeker, hooded by Tim Tate.
Right.
Anne Catherine Burns, being hooded by Professor Tim Tate.
Yaha Mamh Almumin, being hooded by Michael Routz.
Gregory Barton Huxtable, hooded by Professor Timothy M. Tate.
Shreya Shukla, being hooded by Yuri Sherman.
Cameron Farhang, being hooded by Qing Xia.
Jennifer Sarah Pai, being hooded by Alessandra Pantano.
Jinrong Wei, hooded by Long Chen.
Michael Patrick Heyman, being hooded by Alessandra Pantano.
Dong Yan, being hooded by Long Chen.
Jessica Marie Shirley, being hooded by Alessandra Pantano.
Suyang Wei, hooded by Long Chen.
Samuel Lopez, being hooded by Alessandra Pantano.
Matthew West, hooded by Long Chen.
Liam Xavier Hardiman, being hooded by Asaf Ferber.
Samuel Beko, being hooded by Philip Fourchet.
Daniel Morrison, being hooded by Li Sheng Tseng.
Joseph Aaron Kaplan, hooded by Suzanne Blum.
Joe Lee, being hooded by Jeffrey Streets.
Hannah Peacock, hooded by Suzanne Blum. Lauren Marie Anderson Sanchez, hooded by Suzanne Blum.
Jinghao Chen, being hooded by Professor John Lowengrub.
Joseph Nguyen, hooded by Suzanne Blum.
Po Olaranon, being hooded by John Lowengrub.
David Knez, hooded by Eric Potma. Jordan Anthony Castro, hooded by Jibing Guan.
Adam James Fagan, being hooded by Adam Martini.
Annika Miller Casas, hooded by Neon Bue Ge.
James Harrison Griffin, being hooded by Renee Link.
Ian Sequeira, hooded by Javier Sanchez Yamagishi.
Shannon Saluga, being hooded by Dr. Kim Edwards.
Andrew Barabbas, hooded by Javier Sanchez Yamagishi.
Zachary Albert Cornwell, being hooded by Craig Murray.
Kaula Mustafa, hooded by Alan Hochbaum.
Catherine Hopstock, being hooded by Sergei Niskorodov.
Nicholas James Humphrey, hooded by Reginald Penner.
Nadia Hirbawi, being hooded by Sergei Niskorodov.
Peter Tew, hooded by Reginald Penner.
Avery Brian Dalton, being hooded by Sergei Niskorodov.
David Matthew Navarro, hooded by Reginald Penner.
Rain Talosic, being hooded by Joe Patterson.
Sharon Chen, hooded by Jennifer Prescher.
Jennifer Urbine, being hooded by Shane Ardo.
Patricia Chi Lin, hooded by Jennifer Prescher.
Shirley Chang, being hooded by Shane Ardo.
Claire Herbert, hooded by Jennifer Prescher.
Abigail Rose Balt, being hooded by Professor David Kirkby.
Zachary Torrey, hooded by Jennifer A. Prescher. Griffin Lee Barnes, hooded by Jennifer Prescher. Lucas Kent Johnson, hooded by Jennifer Prescher.
Thanks, Brad.
Alyssa Marie Burns, hooded by Anne Marie Carlton. Yinting Tiffany Chu, hooded by Anne Marie Carlton. Elizabeth Diesner, hooded by Carter Butts.
That concludes the presentation of doctoral degrees from the School of Physical Sciences. I call upon Dean Gould.
And now we recognize the finest doctoral recipients, those from the School of Social Ecology. New doctors, please come forward.
Carolyn M. Coles, being hooded by Dr. Emily Owens.
Amrita Vijay Jain, hooded by Dr. Walter Nichols.
Matthew Barno, being hooded by Mona Lynch.
Emmanuel Preciado, hooded by Martha Feldman and Walter Nichols.
Li Huang, being hooded by Dr. Mona Lynch.
Viviana Marie Go, hooded by Karna Wong.
Margaret Goldman, being hooded by Nancy Rodriguez.
Nikki Iranpur Tari, hooded by Professor Scott Bolins.
Veronica Valencia Gonzalez, being hooded by Brian Sykes.
Colette Janelle Brown, hooded by Dr. Karen Rook.
Justin Lucas Sola, by Professor Brian Sykes.
Danielle Oleskovitz, hooded by Dr. Karen Rook.
Shao Song Iris Low, by Brian Sykes.
Kaylee Danielle Estes, hooded by Roxanne Cohen Silver.
Chi Song, by Professor A.J. Gardet.
Adebisi Ajoke Akinyemi, hooded by Roxanne Cohen Silver.
Angelina Majeno, being hooded by Ilona Yim.
Julie Ann Kircher, hooded by Susan Charles.
Kennedy Marie Blevins, being hooded by Sarah Pressman and Ilona Yim.
Amandeep Kaur, hooded by Susan Charles.
Cameron Ross Wiley, being hooded by Sarah Pressman, Belinda Campos, and Dwayne Williams. Enoch Kwan, being hooded by Dr. Dwayne Williams. Callie Marie Brown, being hooded by Dr. Belinda Campos. Hugo Sanchez Hernandez, being hooded by Belinda Campos. Ava Musavi, being hooded by Dr. Kate Coleman. Manuela Oliveira Yasa, being hooded by Jillian Hayes. Adrian Gay Credo, being hooded by Susan Turk Charles. Juan Roberto Sandoval, being hooded by Naomi Sugie. Mutsumi Ogaki, being hooded by Naomi Sugie. Youngwon Cho, being hooded by Professor Heckhausen. Jenica Sky Power, being hooded by Yuta Heckhausen and Jersey Borelli. Lyric Noel Russo, being hooded by Professor Jesse Borelli. Abby Michelle Rosenberg, being hooded by Jesse Borelli. Jose Areola, being hooded by Jesse Borelli. Kamalakanan, son of M. Vijayakumar, being hooded by Elizabeth Martin.
That concludes the presentation of the doctoral degrees from the School of Social Ecology. I call upon Dean Maurer.
Thank you, Dean Gould. We will now recognize the doctoral recipients from the School of Social Sciences. New doctors, please come forward.
Neek Laux, being hooded by Angela Jenks.
Cherry G, being hooded by Julia Lurch.
Nalia Arabel Fenea Rodriguez, being hooded by Dr. Ann Hironaka.
Arman A. Azadi, hooded by Julia Lurch.
Caitlin Marie Kelly, hooded by Daniel Brunstetter.
Tawhid Saeed bin Kashem, being hooded by Karnal Sadiq.
Kaylin Jude Borden, hooded by David Meyer.
Liliana Ramirez, being hooded by Keith Murphy.
Wesley Jeffrey, hooded by David Schaefer.
Gilbertly Lusant, being hooded by Keith Murphy.
Tanya Amaris Islas Delgado, hooded by Alina Kim.
Enoch Kim, being hooded by Kim Fortune.
Alice Chen, hooded by Professor Elina Kim. Ling Yu Gan, hooded by Professor George Sperling.
Stephanie Marin, being hooded by Kristen Turney.
Vache Baboyan, hooded by Gregory Hickok.
Caitlin Rose Millay, being hooded by Kristen Turney.
Kristen Elizabeth Anstus, hooded by Heidi Hart.
Martha Morales Hernandez, being hooded by Laura E. Enriquez.
Sebastian Rivera Aburto, hooded by Inez Levine.
Elizabeth Regina Barrios Dugenia, being hooded by Dr. Laura Enriquez.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that.
Barbara Pham, being hooded by Dr. Laura Enriquez.
Melina Emily Much, hooded by Inez Levine.
Nicole Golden, being hooded by Dr. Matthew Harding.
Robert Angus McDonald, hooded by Ivan Jelasko.
Hauja Su, being hooded by Dr. Matthew Harding.
Jayo Gao, hooded by Dr. Ivan Jelasko.
Mehdi Oruji, being hooded by Dr. Megan Peters.
Harush Aurora, hooded by Ivan Jelasko.
Shada Abachi, being hooded by Dr. Megan Peters.
David Mwakima, hooded by James Weatherall. Miret Ayman Morcos, hooded by Jeffrey Kopstein.
Lauren Elizabeth Montgomery, being hooded by Michael Lee.
Bessie Liao, hooded by Jan Bruckner.
Jesus Manuel Villarreal Ochoa, being hooded by Michael Lee.
Xiangying Gan, hooded by Jan Bruckner.
Adam Chin, being hooded by Jeremy Heiss.
Henry Bernal, hooded by Professor Jan Buckner.
Karan Sadesh Talathi, being hooded by Professor Priyaranjan Cha.
Erin Marie Costigliolo, hooded by Jia Wei Chen.
Manasvi Sharma, being hooded by Priyaranjan Cha.
Nathan Redmond, hooded by Francesca Poletta.
Mackenzie Antoinette Christensen, being hooded by Rachel Goldberg.
Malik Fakhar Ahmed, hooded by John Duffy.
Isha Balamudi, being hooded by Rachel Goldberg and Swethra Balakristian.
Vu Nguyen, hooded by John Duffy.
Leah Autumn Sanchez, being hooded by Dr. Tom Belstorff.
Derek Tran, hooded by John Duffy.
Jason Zucheng Shen, being hooded by Toby Meadows.
Yan Yan Luo, hooded by John Duffy.
Minyoung Kim, being hooded by Dr. Yang Su.
Aaron Sullivan, hooded by John Duffy.
Joshua Charles Cafferty, being hooded by Dr. David Smith.
Shenyang Wong, hooded by John Duffy.
Jeremiah Scott Lawson, being hooded by Matt Huffman.
Wells Joe, hooded by John Duffy. Noah Atali, hooded by Gregory Scontris. Peng Huang, hooded by Carter Butts. Nathan Gabriel, hooded by Kaylin O'Connor. Janelle Olivia Levy, hooded by Bill Moore. Neil Nori Kaplan Kelly, hooded by Dean Bill Moore.
That concludes the doctoral recipients from the School of Social Sciences. I call upon Dean Lopez.
We will now recognize the Doctoral and Master of Fine Arts recipients from the Claire Trevor School of the Arts. New doctors and masters, please come forward to be recognized.
Joshua Toman, hooded by Amanda Ross Ho.
Jirish Balan, hooded by Mari Kimura.
Elizabeth Jean Stringer, hooded by Jennifer Pastor.
Siti Chai Chayahat, hooded by Andrew Borba and Cynthia Bassam.
Gintote Sverenite, hooded by Jennifer Pastor.
Timothy David Frangos, hooded by Cynthia Bassam and Andrew Borba.
Devin Grant Wilson, hooded by Jesse C. Jackson.
Siobhan Grandison, hooded by Andrew Borba and Cynthia Bassam.
Lauren Goldenberg, hooded by Kevin Appel.
Rachel Likens, hooded by Cynthia Bassam and Andrew Borba.
Mona Colette Welch, hooded by Kevin Appel.
Viviana Wildis Flo McCormick, hooded by Cynthia Bassam and Andrew Borba.
Emily Elizabeth Chapman, hooded by Jennifer Fisher.
Robert Zelaya, hooded by Cynthia Bassam and Andrew Borba.
Julian Chong, hooded by Kelly Sharp.
Samuel Paul Terrell Allen, hooded by Don Hill and Joel Veenstra.
Ari Pulido, hooded by Dr. Kelly Sharp.
Jessie Marie Bender, hooded by Don Hill and Joel Veenstra.
Daniel Monroy, hooded by Alan Terracciano.
Nicole Marie Cortez, hooded by Joel Veenstra and Don Hill. Blake Anthony Elliott, hooded by Don Hill and Joel Veenstra. Jacqueline Quinn Estrada, hooded by Don Hill. Andrea Victoria Corona, hooded by Juliet Carrillo. Lucas James Nelson, hooded by Juliet Carrillo. Angela Inez Cruz, hooded by Juliet Carrillo. Teresa Ramos, hooded by Juliet Carrillo. Alberto Lule, hooded by Liz Glynn. Zachary Trevor Paul Borland, hooded by Zachary Dietz. Hope Tian, hooded by Dr. Daryl Taylor.
That concludes the presentation of doctoral and Masters of Fine Arts degrees from the Claire Trevor School of the Arts. I call upon Associate Dean Walsh.
We will now recognize the doctoral recipients from the newly named Charlie Dunlop School of Biological Sciences. New doctors, please come forward to be recognized.
Jean-Paul Chederavian, hooded by Dr. Leslie Thompson.
Sepide Kiani Shabastari, hooded by Dr. Kim Kareen.
Jennifer Thomas Stockdale, hooded by Leslie M. Thompson.
Rocio Alejandra Barahona, hooded by Dr. Kim Green.
Junyan Duan, hooded by Boye Anderson.
Melissa Louise Brock, hooded by Adam Martini.
Rachel Jasmine Hill, hooded by Matthew Bracken.
Karina Inge Brocco French, hooded by Dr. Donovan P. German.
Vidi Chandres Murarka, hooded by Celia Goulding.
Matea Jokic, hooded by Dr. Donovan German.
Stephanie Orchanian, hooded by Melissa Lodonen.
Kylene Elizabeth Castro, hooded by Olga Razorinova.
Yuichi Ren, hooded by Craig Stark.
Sean Gu, hooded by Celia Fayola.
Leora Tuitian Duong, hooded by Associate Dean Craig Walsh.
Carlene Chin, hooded by Timothy Downing.
Xinyu Li, hooded by Associate Dean Craig Walsh.
Miranda Chappelle Farley, hooded by Professor Michael Yassa and Professor Bryce Mander.
Trini Nguyen, hooded by Associate Dean Craig Walsh.
Taylor Nakayama, hooded by Sunil Gandhi.
Nargis Rezai, hooded by Associate Dean Craig Walsh.
Ali Barak Osger, hooded by Guri Lur.
Isabel Rivera, hooded by Craig M. Walsh.
Marina Ritchie, hooded by Joshua Grill.
Rajat Saxena, hooded by Craig Walsh.
Jonathan Dennis Rodriguez, hooded by John S. Lowengrub. Mansi Praveen Saraf, hooded by Norbert Fortin.
Wei Hao Tang, hooded by Professor John S. Lowengrub.
Cassandra Van, hooded by John F. Allard.
Karen Hui Shao, hooded by Professor Arnand Ganesan.
Carla Marlene Viramontes, hooded by Dr. Roberto Tinoco.
Brian Ivan Ruiz, hooded by Associate Dean Craig Walsh.
That concludes the presentation of doctoral degrees from the Charlie Dunlop School of Biological Sciences. I call upon Dean Williamson.
We will now recognize the doctoral recipients from the Pomerantz School of Business. Congratulations, new doctors. Please come forward to be recognized.
Sylvia Gao, hooded by Imran Kurim.
Carrie Wang, hooded by Joan L. Pierce. Hao Miao Ho, hooded by Elizabeth Chuck.
Cristina Maria de Aro Alonso, hooded by Benaj Boist.
Charles Lee, hooded by Elizabeth Chuck.
Jiaxi Shi, hooded by Professor Abhishek.
Dennis Dongjun An, hooded by Elizabeth Chuck.
Jinan Lin, hooded by Sanjeev Dewan. Mingu, hooded by Sanjeev Dewan.
That concludes the presentation of the doctorate degrees from the Paul Merage School of Business. I call upon Dean Contreras.
We will now recognize the doctoral recipients from the School of Education. New doctors, please come forward to be recognized.
Shell Nichols Ramos, hooded by Elizabeth D. Pena.
Ewen Lin, hooded by Nia Nixon. Lauren Idris Snow, hooded by Nia Nixon.
Cecilia Perez, hooded by Elizabeth Pena.
Yi Fang, hooded by Suzanne Yaki.
Allison Starks, hooded by Stephanie Reich.
Xunfei Li, hooded by Dee Su and Richard Aram.
Ashley Brianna Belgrave, hooded by Andres Bustamante.
Ethan Benjamin Rubin, hooded by Elizabeth Van Ness.
Christopher Garrido Lechuga, hooded by Cheyenne Durruti.
Dana Marie Conlin, hooded by Adriana Villavicencio.
Jonathan Lee Montoya, hooded by Mark Warschauer.
Joseph Wong, hooded by Professor Lindsay Richland and Bradley Hughes.
Lainey Yesenia Garcia, hooded by Mark Warschauer. Paul Youngmin Yu, hooded by Greg Duncan. Maria Salval Algorta, hooded by Jay Jenkins and Greg Duncan. Ha-Un Kim, hooded by Jade Jenkins. Jia Li Wang, hooded by Youngsuk Grace Kim. Joseph Abel, hooded by Dr. Youngsuk Grace Kim. Laura Calty, hooded by Kylie Papler. Nikolina Yankova, hooded by Kylie Papler. Phoebe Chu, hooded by Kylie Pepler. Lena Brodsky, hooded by Dr. Lindsay Richland.
That concludes the presentation of doctoral degrees from the School of Education. I call upon Dean Egerstedt.
We will now recognize the outstanding doctoral recipients from the Henry Samueli School of Engineering. New doctors, please come forward to be recognized.
Stephanie Chain Sun, hooded by Glenn Healy.
Braulio Cardenas Benitez, hooded by Professor Abraham Lee.
Carles Diaz Vilor, hooded by Hamid Jafarkani.
Andrew Alexander Schmidt, hooded by Anna Grossberg.
Yibo Wong, hooded by Jean-Luc Godio.
Trenton Nguyen, hooded by Anya Grossberg.
Mikhail Savastianov, hooded by Professor Smedley.
Danny Shea, hooded by Bernard Choi.
Ali Reza Javani, hooded by Zhiying Wang.
Pega Palladian, hooded by Daryl Priest. Kaylin Leaks, hooded by Tim Brody.
Joanne Chen, hooded by Zhou Li.
Arash Abiri, hooded by Michelle Kine.
Laura Pla Olea, hooded by Roger H. Rangel.
Maral Kasiri, hooded by Dr. Terrence Sanger.
Ali Reza Nixamir, hooded by Hamid Reza Agassi.
Xiao Ye, hooded by Xiangmin Chu.
Behnam Moradi, hooded by Dr. Hamid Reza Agassi.
Saijun Chu, hooded by Dr. Zhangping Chen.
Mohammed Shafiqul Islam, hooded by Rahim Isfagyal Pur.
Zhikai Zhu, hooded by Zhangping Chen.
Sahar Naji Fishkoshnu, hooded by Rahim Esfanyapur.
Christopher Amaron Johnson, hooded by Dr. Zavan Nenadic.
Lou Leo, hooded by Lee Swinderhurst.
Shusuke Okta, hooded by Dr. Zavan Menadic.
Mohamed Odema, hooded by Professor Lee Swindlehurst.
Alberto Ranier Escobar, hooded by Zoran Nemedic. Kojo Bonsu, hooded by Dr. Elizabeth Reed.
Kazi Khorshidi Hakdia, hooded by Professor Lee Swindlehurst.
Han Wang, hooded by Erdem Sazmas.
Hui Ting Chin, hooded by Lee Swindlehurst.
Hunter Noah Pauker, hooded by Professor Robert Smith Nielsen.
Amir Haji, hooded by Lee Swindlehurst.
Nina Butkovich, hooded by Professor Su Wen Wang.
Armin Kianfer, hooded by Perry Johnson.
Aaron Ramirez, hooded by Dr. Su Wen Wang.
Wael Fatnasi, hooded by Yair Shukri.
Sierra Elena Juntado Gross, hooded by Dr. Mum.
Haytham Kir, hooded by Yasser Shukri.
Calvin Harris Belcher, hooded by Dr. Enrique Lavernia.
Ulises Santa Cruz Leal, hooded by Yasser Shukri.
Justin Cortez, hooded by Julie M. Shanung.
Chang Wei Chen, hooded by Salma Skia.
Salma Anter El Azab, hooded by Julie Shanung.
Noah Esteki, hooded by Salma Skia.
Jie Shen, hooded by James Earthman.
Jen Yin Chan, hooded by Gary Scott Samuelson.
Hasti Vahidi, hooded by James Earthman.
Bria Ivana Matthews, hooded by Professor Scott Samuelson.
Nilufar Behbud, hooded by Dr. Farian Zarian.
Kai Wu, hooded by Scott Samuelson.
Lucy Liu, hooded by Kai He.
Trier Mortlock, hooded by Professor David Kirkby.
Hong Kui Zheng, hooded by Kai He.
Justin Thomas Mulvey, hooded by Professor Joseph Patterson.
Masa Amiri, hooded by Professor Lorenzo Valdevit.
Ethan James Heffernan, hooded by Professor Shane Ardo.
Brandon Fields, hooded by Lorenzo Valdevit.
Melina Arizon Melchor, hooded by Jack Brower.
Tom Lee, hooded by Lorenzo Valdevit.
Jun Yong Kim, hooded by Professor Jack Brower.
Ziwei Han, hooded by Dr. Adeyemi Adelege.
John Michael Stansberry, hooded by Jack Brower.
Yenxiang Huang, hooded by Dr. Adeyemi Adelege.
Wei Shi Wong, hooded by Jack Brower.
Dina Joy Kanini Abulon, hooded by Michael McCarthy. 'Cause 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 'cause
Khaled Adel Al-Samri, hooded by Jacob Brower and Jacqueline Huynh.
Shengwei Feng, hooded by Lizzie Sun. Wei Geng, hooded by Mo Li.
Yixin Huang, hooded by Alon Hochbaum.
Pedro Jesse Martin, hooded by Professor Shakira R. Hobbs.
Adam Grossford Draymond, hooded by Alon Hochbaum.
Nagin Shariat, hooded by Dr. Jaya Krishnan.
Somaye Zangane, hooded by Professor Hung Kao.
Peng Yuan Sun, hooded by Dr. Jaya Krishnan.
Ramses Seferino Trigo Torres, hooded by Hung Kao.
Ximeng Fan, hooded by Wenlong Jin.
Amir Naderi, hooded by Hung Kao.
Eric Joshua Medvedev, hooded by Wayne Hayes.
Floran Ellington, hooded by Hung Kao.
Matthew Eric Portman, hooded by Wayne Hayes.
Anna Gonzalez Rosell, hooded by Stacy Kopp. Peter Mario Mostraco, hooded by Stacy Kopp. Ting Wei Deng, hooded by Stacy Marla Kopp. Hannah Elise Laguros, hooded by Stacy Marla Kopp. Bunsup Park, hooded by Professor Michael Highland. Arash Ghaffar, hooded by Michael F. Highland. Navjot Sarma Jayashankar Shobha, hooded by Dr. Michael Highland. Young Hun Bak, hooded by Dr. Michael Highland. That was engineering. Okay, good.
Engineering, we have nursing.
Got it.
That concludes the presentation of doctoral degrees from the Henry Samueli School of Engineering. I call upon Dean Mark Lazenby.
We will now recognize the doctoral recipients from the School of Medicine and the Sue and Bill Gross School of Nursing. New doctors, please come forward.
Jesse Altieri, hooded by Professor Clemens Hertel. Anna Milovich, hooded by Alan Barber. Bridget Fortin, hooded by Selma Masri.
Nelly Hayin Kintangan, hooded by Dr. Tiffany Nielsen.
Sunwoo Oh, hooded by Remy Buisson.
Zolecha Tuki, hooded by Tiffany Nielsen.
Rachel Elizabeth Hokinson, hooded by Professor Tali Z. Baram.
Amanpreet Kaur, hooded by Sarah Campbell.
Jason Yensun Lee, hooded by Professor Tali Z. Baram.
Deborah Unji Lee, hooded by Dr. Sarah Campbell.
Mulatwa Haile, hooded by Dr. Luluwai Chen.
Rachel Chiguang Kwong, hooded by Dr. Dawn Bounds.
Gabriela Adriana Bertaccini, hooded by Neda Patek.
Anna Marie Bondoc An, hooded by Dr. Jung In Park.
Alan Lee, hooded by Neda Patek.
Christina Cecilia Palmer, hooded by Dr. Jung Ah Lee.
Paige Vale Hallis, hooded by Devin A. Lawson.
Shalini Thomas Malinkal, hooded by Dr. Leanne Burke.
Mei Hui, hooded by Kevin Byer.
Marcela Dos Santos, hooded by Miriam Bender.
Elizabeth Catherine Hubbard, hooded by Kevin Byer.
Karen Gahe Kim, hooded by Dr. Angela Jun.
Desiree Makia, hooded by Kevin Byer.
Lin Kim Ti Vo, hooded by Dr. Angela Jun.
Annie Trin, hooded by Professor Timothy Downing.
Kim Huang Tang, hooded by Dr. Angela Jun.
Michael James Neal, hooded by Francesco Tombola.
Liana Bailey, hooded by Dr. Angela Jun.
Jacob Sahog Dale, hooded by Dr. Francesco Tombola.
Leslie Hodges Grotke, hooded by Dr. Angela Jun. Kimberly Ann Rivera Tran, hooded by Dr. Candace Whalen. Angela Marie Frage, hooded by Dr. Candace Whalen. Lady Cardona, hooded by Dr. Michael Bueno. Caroline May Staff, hooded by Dr. Shelley Burke. Jenna Deneen Passerini, hooded by Dr. Shelley Burke. Cassidy Shea Thomas, hooded by Dr. Nakia Best. Jamel Hoven, hooded by Yuxing Guo. Heather Lynn Ibrahim, hooded by Professor Allison Holman. Babak Sachi, hooded by Professor Michelle Fortier. Joseph Irwin No Salundai, hooded by Michelle Fortier. Sylvia Maria Bolanos, hooded by Suzanne Phillips. John Mike, hooded by Suzanne Phillips. And yes. Luz Maria Guillen, hooded by Dr. Suzanne Phillips. Katrina Lazarte, hooded by Dean Mark Lazenby.
That concludes the presentation of doctoral degrees from the School of Medicine and the Sue and Bill Gross School of Nursing. I now call upon Founding Dean Boden Abala.
We now recognize the new doctors from the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences and the program in Public Health. Please come forward.
Alexandra Dawn Rogers, hooded by Frances Leslie.
Victoria Elizabeth Rodriguez, hooded by Alana Lebron.
Huda Amin Barhoush, hooded by Brian Pagel.
Jason Paul Bonham, hooded by Alana Lebron.
Anjali Dixit, hooded by Brian Pagel.
Joshua Unbin Ree, hooded by David Timberlake.
Hallie Fredlender, hooded by Brian Pagel.
Hawa Sumalia Mariko, hooded by Dr. Karen D. Lincoln.
Leslie Spitalny, hooded by Professor Brian Pagel.
Yunji Kim, hooded by Joel Milam.
Lanis Al-Hassan, hooded by Olivier Chivelli.
Deepro Bose, hooded by Dr. Sarab Chatterjee.
Ah-Hyun Kim, hooded by Claudia Benavente.
Brooke Jang, hooded by Dr. Veronica Vieira.
Brandon Latifi, hooded by Andre Luptak.
Karen Marie Yave, hooded by Dr. Michelle Fortier.
Abigail Vanderwall, hooded by Andre Luptak. Hemant Madhu Chirakuri, hooded by Andre Luptak.
Thank you. That concludes the presentation of doctoral degrees from the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences and the program in Public Health. I call upon Dean Miller.
We saved the best for last, and we now recognize the doctoral and Master of Fine Art degree recipients from the School of Humanities. New doctors and masters, please come forward.
Jonas Weaver, hooded by Anke Biandara.
Michelle Patasi, hooded by Tyrese Miller.
Zachary Samuel Gottesman, hooded by Kyung-Hyun Kim.
Louis Doulis, hooded by Dean Miller.
McKenna Rose Middleton, hooded by Gonzalo Navajas.
Anna Peterneski, hooded by Dr. Tyrus Miller.
Alejandra Castellanos, hooded by Gonzalo Navajas.
What's your name again? I just did it. Oh, I know, but there was no room to go. Oh, sorry.
Jeannie Ruth Candelaria Toscano, hooded by Professor Gonzalo Navajas.
Lily Catherine Grimes, hooded by Michelle Latiole.
Gianni Fuentes, hooded by Professor Gonzalo Navajas. Aaron Kotzman, hooded by James Nisbet.
Christopher Leo Chacon, hooded by Professor Audi Barbarian.
Molly Catherine Thrailkill, hooded by James Nisbet.
Bedros Torosian, hooded by Huri Barbarian.
Asako Katsura, hooded by Bert Winther Tamaki.
Rose Emily Ducharme, hooded by Virginia Jackson.
Mallory Elizabeth Wells, hooded by Matthew Kanipa.
Sarah Brooke Odell, hooded by Jane E. Lewis.
Laya Z.I. Bigdeli, hooded by Matthew Kanipa. Sarah A. Fugfagash Munoz, hooded by Lyle Massey. Jung-Soo Lee, hooded by Theodore Martin. Thomas James Williams, hooded by Theodore Martin. And last but not least, Megan Elizabeth Cole, hooded by Theodore Martin.
That concludes the presentation of doctoral and Masters of Fine Arts degree from the School of Humanities. I call upon Vice Provost and Dean Jillian Hayes.
Thank you and congratulations to you all. There are very special guests here today who stuck with you while you stayed at school for more than 20 years. They have encouraged you and they have made great sacrifices so that all of the graduates before us could further their education. Will the parents, spouses, significant others, loved ones, grandparents, children, relatives, and supporters of our graduates please stand so that we may applaud you? Thank you. You may now be seated, and I'd like to ask our graduates who've been in school for a very long time to stand, and all of our deans and Provost Stern and Vice Chancellor Banks, please join me up here. We are going to give one resounding zot like only people who have been in school for 20 years and don't have to go to school anymore can give. So stand up, get your hands up. We're going to count to 3. And we're gonna zot. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Zot, zot, zot. Thank you. The hooding ceremony will now conclude with the recessional march. May I request that the audience remain seated until the recessional is completed. Thank you for participating in today's ceremony. Drive safely.